With the Highfield Color Adjust digital asset created, I now want to create some additional tools that will be used to create interesting masks that can be used with the Color Adjust. First, I'll be creating an occlusion mask digital asset that combines together a few different occlusion masks that allow me to dial in occlusion for small, medium, and large features of the landscape. In this video, I'll begin setting up the logic for the tool. So let's begin by building the basic logic for the digital asset. So first of all, I want to create those occlusion masks. So what I'm going to do is, from our color adjust, add a height field visualize. And because I want to visualize a mask on our landscape, I want to swap the current tinting back to the default tinting, which will allow us to tint the landscape and visualize a mask. I also want to remove this material. Now we're back to our white height field, and let's add our first height field mask by occlusion. And here we can see we're getting a mask here where in the valleys it's white, and then going along the peaks, flat areas, away from any of these kind of crevices, we're getting the red mask. I actually want this to be the other way around. I want to invert it, so I'm going to reverse this ramp. Okay, so for this first one, I'm going to set the view distance to 10. So here now we've only got a mask in some of the much kind of smaller crevices of our landscape. And I'm going to add a height field copy layer to copy this mask to a new destination, which I'm going to call AO1. And actually what I'll do instead is I will use that $OS expression and instead rename this height field copy layer to AO1. Middle mouse click on the destination and we can see that now it says AO1. So that's our first occlusion mask. I'm going to select both of these, hold Alt, left click and drag to create a duplicate. That's already named this height field copy layer to AO2. And I'm now going to increase the view distance to 50. So that's covering a slightly broader area of our height field compared to our first. And let's copy those again. And this time, I'm going to set the view distance to 100. So now we need to merge these together. And to do that, I'm going to use the height field layer. And let's wire in AO1 and AO2. And if I middle mouse click, actually this is too long, so I'm going to come over to the eye icon. And let's have a look. Yes, AO1 and AO2 have been copied onto here. So I'm holding Alt and then left click the node and drag to duplicate it. And this time I want to wire the first height field layer into the second one that I've just created a duplicate of, and then wire in the AO3 into the second input of the second height field layer. And now we have AO3 onto our height field. So now they're all in here together, I want to combine these three masks together. First of all, I'm going to add a height field mask clear, just to clear off the mask. And now add a height field combine layer, or height field combine layers. And I can use this to combine those three occlusion masks together. So I'm going to set the destination to mask, and I'm going to set the blend operation to maximum, and select from the source AO1. Then if I click the little plus, I can add another operation and combine another layer. So again, I can set the operation to maximum, and this time set the layer source to AO2. Set the plus icon again, add in AO3 and set the operation to maximum. So now I have all three of these layers together, and I can alter the blend value to blend in and change how much I want to combine three different layers. So for instance, I might want to have mostly just the small areas and just a little bit of the medium areas, and then only a very small amount of the broader areas. And then also have a slide here for overall scale if I want to increase the overall value of these combined masks. And I then want to add a height field remap. And I want to remap the mask. And I'm going to set this to round and just adjust this to have just a bit more of a rounded curve. And that just brings out that mask a little stronger. And then with this mask, what I can do is if I add from this height field color adjust, I'm going to add another height field color adjust. And if I plug in our combined occlusion masks, I can use this to add a bit of shading to the landscape. Just going to disable these two previous height field color adjusts, just so I can more easily see the effect of our occlusion mask. And if I come back to the height field combined layers, where I'm combining all three of these occlusion masks together, I can adjust how much shading I want from the different layers. And I can increase the overall scale and kind of get the look that I want. And what I find works quite well is if I have the smallest occlusion mask maybe at 1, and then this second one at maybe around 0.75, and then have this larger one, a much subtler, maybe 0.5. I can dial in this height field color adjust, maybe lower the gamma, increase the saturation a little bit. I can also dial it in with the strength as well and see how much of it I want to affect the landscape. I'm also going to come back to these two height field color adjusts, enable them, and maybe just tone those down a little bit as well. So I've got this one for the cavities, and then one on the peaks. Bring that right down, and then our shading on top of that. And again, I want to bring this down, keep it a bit more subtle. But you can, again, play around with this and come up with something that you think works best for your landscapes. So next, I want to take these nodes and package them up as a digital asset so that we have kind of an artist-friendly user interface, which they can use to adjust these occlusion masks.